It's almost May, so today I wanted to share with you 10 crops that you can plant in May right away. And stay to the end for the list of varieties that I'll be planting in this video. The first crop is one that is crisp, refreshing, and can even cool you down when it's hot outside because of its high water content that makes it take longer for it to heat up on the inside. And that crop, of course, is the cool cucumber. And I got a few good picks for you. Beta Alpha is the most productive cucumber that I have ever grown. And Beta Alpha produces all female flowers that all turn into cucumber without pollination, which means you will get more fruit from it. Another good cucumber that I would recommend is the Space Masters. I grew the Space Master and got some really good slicing cucumbers off of it that were about 7 to 8 inches. And it's one cucumber that I like too. The China Jade cucumber is another one, and it grows extremely long. This cucumber could get up to 16 and even 18 inches, so it's quite fun to grow. Because my cucumber seeds are mainly used up, I'm going to be trying out a few new varieties, and I'm going to be growing the Garden Sweet Cucumber and the Market More 76 this year as new test ones. Now, cucumbers can grow really fast in about 50 to 60 days from seed to harvest, but they like warmth and it's still cool where I live, so I'm going to be starting mine in some seedling cell trays, and then when it's warmer, I'll bring them outside. I'm going to start by filling it with some good potting soil. Press it down a little, just like that. And then with my cucumber seeds, I'm going to be planting it 1 seed per cell. You could also go more if you have older seeds, like 2 per cell, but these are fresh, so they will most likely germinate. And then I'm just going to cover it back. And don't forget to label what you plant. Besides cucumber being a good crop that you could use for pickling, the next crop makes excellent pickles that taste close to the same. And that is the prolific zucchini. I also like to eat zucchinis with beans in a wet stir-fried fashion, and together the bean and zucchini are sweet and a bit crunchy too. And we eat a lot of it during the summer because they tend to produce a lot. A variety that we've grown in the past is the Gold Rush zucchini, which is a yellow zucchini. The good part about it is that because the zucchinis are yellow, it makes it easier to spot on the plant for when it's ready for picking. Another good one is the Costata Romanesco zucchini, which is a Italian zucchini that is a green and white stripe. And some new varieties that I'm going to be testing is the Early Prolific Straight Neck and the Elite Hybrid zucchini. To direct sow your zucchini, you'll usually want to make a mound. Then on top of the mound, make 1 to 2 holes, and you could plant your zucchini seed in it. Then when they come up, you could either let them grow together or separate them out to plant them elsewhere. Just be careful so as not to disturb the root of the one that you are leaving in that spot. For me, since it is still cool where I am, I'm going to be not direct sowing my zucchini right now. I'll probably be doing mine at least by the end of this month to the beginning of June, but I could still start my zucchini in seedling cell. For the third crop, it's beans, and then specifically pole beans. You could also grow bush beans, and if you wanted to do that, a variety that I recommend is the Dragon Tongue bean. It's just a really beautiful yellow and purple bean that is really stunning. And a bean that I'm going to be trying this year is the Tender Green Improved Bush bean. But as the core of my bean production harvest, I like to grow the Blue Lake bean because this is the one that's always produced the most for me. You will need a trellis to grow your pole bean on because they need somewhere to climb up. But if you have a garden fence, then you could plant this at the very edge of the bed near the fence, and that way you're making twice the use out of the space by growing them up vertically and planting other stuff in that bed. As for how I plant my bean, I like to do it by soaking it in a glass jar of water, and after 6 hours I will drain the seeds and then plant them. I plant mine usually about 3 to 4 inches apart from each other because they're growing up vertically and won't need as much of a space. The fourth crop is related to tomatoes, and if you were to think maybe a pepper or an eggplant, think again because it's more secretive and grows underground. And that crop is, of course, your potatoes. This right here is the red Norland potato that I have. I also like growing the Arizona potato. To plant potatoes, they could be planted in bucket. And this year, I'm actually planting my potatoes in a potato tower. And so far, you can see they're growing really well. The top is a little bit better than the bottom, but there's still some pretty good growth. If you want to know how to plant your potatoes using this method, I'll leave a link to the full video above and in the video description for your convenience to check out. But for my potatoes that I'm planting in May, what I do in my raised bed is I make trenches that is about 1 foot apart and about 6 inches deep. Then in my trench, I will plant the potatoes about 12 to 14 inches apart. And the only thing I like to do after is add some straw, which will help to keep water in the soil and the weeds down, which are two main things you have to look out for when growing potatoes. Crop number 5 is peas. Peas are super sweet and delicious when you choose the right varieties. The one that I recommend, just because I've grown some other peas and this has been the best tasting one for me, is the Alaska shelling pea. This one, I find that the pods are also soft enough, as well as the peas that are inside, that you could eat both of them, and they are pretty sweet. If you're gonna plant peas, you want to soak your peas for about 6 hours before planting. And once they're done, you want to plant it ideally in a row at the base of your trellis, unless you grow a bush type, which there are some that are like that. And for spacing wise, you want to plant the seeds about every 2 inches apart. Now, one really important tip when growing peas is to have a good, really strong trellis. And you could easily do that by taking a few stakes, hammering them down into the ground. And then with some chicken wire, you could attach it to it using some zip ties. And this is what I've done here to make a really easy trellis. The 6th crop for May is spinach. When it comes to variety, since everywhere is warming up around May, we want to choose some heat-tolerant varieties of spinach. One of them, which is what I have here, is the Bloomsdale spinach. You could also grow spinaches that are not actually like true spinach, but may taste almost the same, some of which are Malabar spinach, New Zealand spinach, or Egyptian spinach you could grow. As for how to sow spinach seed, I'm first gonna start by taking a cup and scooping up some good potting mix. Then with our spinach seeds, we're going to want to take it and sow a few of them on the surface of our soil. You could also direct sow your spinach if you want into your garden. Just you want to make sure that you're keeping the soil moist, because in your garden they could dry out if you don't stay on top of your watering. So now we're going to give our spinach a good watering in. And your spinach should germinate in about 1 to 2 weeks. For my 7th crop, I'm going to be planting some carrots. The best carrot I found to grow so far has been the Denver half-long carrot for me. This one is a short stubby carrot, so it's great for clay soils. And the second carrot that I have is the Nantes Coilas, which is a new carrot I'm going to be trying. Since the snow on this raised bed has melted and the soil is workable, I'm going to be planting some carrots in this. So what I'm going to do is with my Nantes carrot, I'm going to be taking it and sprinkling some of them in this corner, like that. And then with my Denver half-long carrot, I'm going to be doing the same. Then what I like to do, since carrot seeds shouldn't really be buried deep, is use a sifter and some soil. This is some potting mix that I made to cover it back. The 8th crop is round, reddish pink, and even a bit spicy. And that crop is radish. Radish is quite an underrated crop because a lot of people don't really think of starting them because probably the fact that they're too spicy. And while you can't just cut it up and use it in a salad, if that's you, I also got another variety for you that's not as spicy and is better eating. So I'm going to take about a scoop of this soil out at first. And then I'm going to make 16 holes, since this container look about the size of a foot. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe one more hole there. 16. They do look a little bit too much, so the light tap will cover back some of those. And then with my radish seeds, I'm going to plant them. Give the container a little tap too. And we're going to water the radishes in. And the special radish that you could grow if you don't like spicy ones is daikon radish. Now they do grow to be quite a bit long, 12 to 20 inches long. So just like a carrot, they need to be planted in deep, loose soil in order for them to grow big and straight. The chickens been waiting for this nice snack and when they saw me filming. Hey guys. Make sure you guys peck some like emojis for Tweaker and the chickens if you like seeing them in the videos. Hey, what you following? What are you following me for? The next crop is a flower that has a really strong orange and yellow that's also good for planting with your tomatoes. And that flower is marigold. If you thought I was talking about nasturtium, then that would have been a good guess. And it's another bonus flower you could plant this month. But to sow marigolds, I like to start with a pot. And then taking a second cup, I like pressing it over the first to slightly make a flat surface for where I'm going to plant my marigold. And then I plant my marigold seeds, and you can plant really as much as you want. It doesn't really matter too much about the spacing because in my opinion, I find marigold don't seem to have that much stress and shock from being transplanted. So that's why I do it this way. The 10th crop, you gotta plant way in advance of when you actually want to get a harvest. A hint, it typically comes in at around fall. And of course, the crop I'm talking about is the hefty squash and pumpkins. Two varieties, although not so hefty, is the sweet dumpling squash. And when the outside peels turns from a green to an orange, that is when you know they're ripe and are the most sweetest. Also, for a pumpkin, I got the small sugar or pie pumpkin, and this one makes excellent in pumpkin pies. If you did want it to grow some big pumpkins or squash, then the Blue Hubbard squash is one that I'd recommend, and the Atlantic Giant, which is known for just growing massive pumpkins that are used in pumpkin growing contests. To sow the seed, it's the same as how you sow your zucchini, just they can appreciate being planted a little farther apart as your pumpkin tends to grow very long and could send out a few stems. A bonus crop that there is still time to plant this month is your tomatoes, and specifically determinate style tomatoes. A determinate style tomatoes you could still plant directly into your garden in May because they produce their fruits all at once, and if you choose like some early determinate style tomatoes, they will produce it fast. The first of which I have for you is the Subarctic Plenty tomato. This one produces in as little as 40 to 60 days. Also, the Bloody Butcher is another short producing tomato. This one produces in about 55 days. And last year I grew this Bloody Butcher tomato, and it was the first tomato to produce and ripen for us. That's why I'm going to be growing some more of these early style tomatoes. Glacier is another one that produces in the same time as the Bloody Butcher. And for a quick cherry style tomato, the Patio Choice Yellow would be your man. And for those of you who stay to the end, here is the chart for all of the varieties that were in this video and some that I recommend that you could look at here. Well, those are the 10 plus crops that you could start this month, and there is still more crops that you could plant. So if you want them, comment the word bonus for the extra crops checklist and how to plant them. Goodbye!